that I believe that you guys have lost the very essence of who you were meant to be. What are you laughing at, baby? Anyways, whatever. But I remember speaking to him and telling him, by the way, I'm going to be very honest with you guys, this is not natural for me at all. This is very difficult for me, but it's not because I haven't done it before. I've spoken to people before. But you guys aren't just anyone. I just want you to know that you guys aren't just anyone.
Man.
And the very message that I came to give you is, I need to return to you your identity. Because that is who you've lost. You've lost your identity in Christ. If you guys could actually go with me to Romans 1:28-32. Can I have someone read it for me? Who wants to read it? Y'all are too intense. Alexa, can you get it for me?
Should you read the verse screen or the my phone?
Wickedness, evil, greed, depravity, they are full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, and malice. They are gossips, slanderers, God-haters, insolent, arrogant, and boastful. They invent ways of doing evil. They disobey their parents. They have no understanding of fidelity, no love, no mercy.
Does that sound familiar to you?
Yes, sir.
Because to be honest with you, the first thing we lose when we lose sight of who we are is our discernment. We don't know which way is right and wrong. We lack respect. We lack any respect for our authority. We lack knowledge of God. We do things the way we want to do them because that's how we've always done them. Your discernment is what allows you to continue in the path that you have been set for, the path that you have been prepared for. But you lose that. And then we get bored. And then we get angry. Because we are taught religion. And religion is really just a set of laws. It causes us to be the same person. Because that is technically who we are in this world. We are the same person. We lose individuality. And I say that because I want you to remember that one of the biggest reasons that people had a problem with Jesus is because he was different. He spoke differently.
That's right.
He walked differently. Even his schedule was different. He would heal someone, and they would ridicule him because he did it on a day that wasn't supposed to be done. I think it was called the Sabbath day or something. I don't even know what that means. But the point was, it wasn't according to how they developed everything. Everything about him was different. And the reason he needed to be so different is because he needed to break the mold that had been surrounding his people.
Amen.
Because as I was reading the scripture, because it's the only reference that I have, he took me to a certain people. And it's a people that reminds me of this generation, because God has something with this generation. There's just something about this youth that's sort of, I don't know what it is, but I know that there's something about it, because you've been more lost than you've ever been before. You're more confused than you've ever been before. And really that comes from someone trying to define who you are because, and by someone I mean, you know who that means, the enemy of course, but someone's trying to define who you are, to take away that very purpose, that very power that you were meant to have. Because Jesus gave purpose, he gave power. And God made something very clear to me in my head. A lot of people like to call me Lord, but very few people can call me Father. Because when you call me Father, that means you have accepted yourself as such. That means that you are under my authority, but when you act under my authority, you cannot do the things that you speak about right here. Because that is what the Jews did. They rejected who they were. They rejected who God was. And they went to something completely different. They went to that image of slaves that they had when they were first born. Because that is the image that was put on them, that image of slavery. That they belonged to someone else that wasn't God. And it's not that they didn't hear over and over again that they were God's people. But it was that in their minds, all they'd ever been to anyone else was a slave. And that's what That's the hardest part about being yourself, is realizing that there's a mold that you have to break. There's a mold that is placed in front of you. The Jews lost that connection with God, that communication that's so important. Because as human beings, we tend to adapt to the environment around us. We think we know what we're doing, but we don't. We walk as if there's something ahead of us, but we have no vision. Because the only one who has the real vision is God. God gives us our vision, but without God, we have no vision. And you know what? We develop this sort of self-sufficient attitude where we can do everything ourselves. And actually, can anyone help me? Does anyone know what the name of that time period was, that moment in history where we sort of developed science as our sort of like central thing, like we rejected God? I don't know if anyone knows that. Roger? Whatever, I skipped that class. No, but basically it's you telling yourself that as long as I have logical reasoning, as long as I use my own brain, I will make it through. And that's not necessarily true. You know, your dreams might be others' dreams that someone has placed in front of you, but it's not the dreams that God meant you to have. Because the dreams that God meant you to have are beyond your comprehension, beyond your understanding, behind your comfort zone. Like, this is not a comfort zone. Like, the place that I'm standing is not comfortable, but that is where God calls you to be. It's the same thing he said to Peter. I stretch out my hand to you, but I am not where you are. You're sitting right there, but I am over here. And I can call to you, but you have to come to me. And I can show you who you are, because you still don't know. And that's something that the Holy Spirit said to me over and over and over again. You know, I know that you know about me, but you're still hiding from me. There's something that you're still hiding from me. You're keeping it inside yourself because you're afraid of what your family thinks of you. You're afraid about what anybody else thinks of you, because the only thing anybody has ever told you is you're quiet. You know, you're certainly not going to preach. Your families are Levites, but you're probably not going to be a Levite. That's the only thing that anybody has ever told you in the church, the past church. But I'm taking you here because I'm trying to show you something else. I'm trying to take you somewhere else. But I can't do that unless you open yourself up to me, unless you become the person that I have called you to be. And that takes time. That takes me molding you. That takes me breaking you at some points. And that's painful. And that hurts. But you know what? The things of this world hurt more when you do it without God. Because honestly, you live in a dark world. And it's not that the pain doesn't exist. It just hides it around you. What God does is he shines a light on you. And so you see that shadow, that pain that you didn't know you had. Because that's what you've been holding in. That's what's been blocking the inside, the most inner parts of you that God knows. And only God knows, because you don't even know who that is. We still don't know who that is. Even in the Bible it says there will come a point where Jesus will reveal himself completely to us and reveal who we are completely. Because we still don't know. And you know what? I've come to the realization that a lot of you like to hold grudges. And here's the problem. You become angry at God because you see other people blessed. People that don't come to church. People prosper who make fun of you. People prosper who reject the name of Jesus. They have the things that you thought that you were meant to have, the promises that belong to you. You don't longer have those things. And you hold that grudge. You feel like God has rejected you. And you feel like your response is to reject him, but I don't know if any of you knew this. The reason that we are part of God's covenant of grace, the reason that we have salvation, is partly because of the mistakes that someone made a long time ago, the same people that Jesus called, the same people that God called. He said, I am the God of the Jews. But the problem is the Jews have rejected me. They do not call me their God. They go by a law, but they do not follow that law. They pretend they know what to do, but they wither away. They perish because of their lack of knowledge, because they don't know who I am and they don't know who they are in me. And the only way that I will give to them what belongs to them, because I promised them something. I promised them land. I promised them blessings. But the only way that I can give those things to them is if they come back to me. If they start accepting who they are, which is my people. Because they will never lose their position. You will never lose your position in God. There's something that you hold and only you hold. As the Bible says, you're part of a body, you have a certain function. That's because you're meant to be in a team. There's a position that you hold and only you can hold it. But you can lose your privilege to be called a child. And only my children inherit my blessings.
Amen.
Only my children inherit my inheritance. That's basically what it's called. And if you want the things that you see others have, because I am jealous and I will show you your mistakes and I will show them through other people. I will make you jealous. And probably not in the way that you think I'm talking about jealousy, but I will make you open your eyes, I will make you think. And only when you return to the person that I have called you to be, which will take time, can I give you those blessings, can I return to you the promises that I have for you. And I'm actually Romans 11 through 12, because I don't want to just say this stuff. Alexa, you might not think you're reading.
Read from the screen, please.
Yeah.
Again I ask, did they stumble so as to fall beyond recovery? Not at all. Rather, because of their transgression, salvation has become to the Gentiles to make Israel envious. But if their transgressions means riches for the world, and their loss means riches for the Gentiles, how much greater riches will their full inclusion bring?
Thank you. Girl, you were Anyways, but as I was saying, there are things that belong to you as right now in her version I refer to as riches. In my version is something else, but the point is there's something that you're meant to have as a people of God. But they're not going to come to you until you return. Until that identity has been placed in you once again. If anybody has been a victim of identity fraud, because I have, it happens very quickly.
Really?
You don't see it coming.
What the heck?
It just sort of happens behind your back, and until someone tells you someone has stolen your identity, you're completely clueless. And that's what happens when we walk in this world. We don't know what's been taken from us until someone shows us. Until someone comes and tells us, where are you? This belongs to you, why don't you have it? You call yourself Christian, but you're still in the same crap that you've been in your entire life. You still deal with the same problems. You still got the same daddy issues. And you don't come to church because you blame God for your daddy issues. And that was me, actually. I said that. I won't lie to you. But, you deal with the same things, and you wonder why people don't come to church because you've got worse problems than they do. And it's because you live in this false reality. You live in this perception that people have made you think of yourself. Your environment has made you think you're something when you're something completely different. And that's something that we teach you here. Never be so quick to adapt to your environment. I think we say all the time, you are in this world, but you are not from this world. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the movie Narnia.
Whoop whoop.
You know what I love about those movies? That all that stuff is almost like, what the heck, why is this guy have a donkey? But you see these things that it was necessary. If you guys didn't know, that's kind of symbolic of the Christian religion. That was the point of the stories, just so you know. But there was a moment where I realized that it was necessary for them to be taken out of their world and into something they had no idea. They had no idea what was going on. And they saw things they had never seen before. And it was necessary for them to go there because if they didn't go there, they would live with that same mentality. The person who they were before, which were orphans, people who didn't have a father. They were orphans, but they were taken somewhere where they were treated as royalty. They had a purpose. They said there was a prophecy that they had to save this land. And they're like, but what? We're just kids. We're orphans. What are we doing here? And they saw things that were unknown to them. And they had to see those things because the things that they saw, what their eyes saw, was misleading them. It was not what was meant to be for them. It was not what they were meant to be. They were meant for something greater. And they always came back. They always came back to the world they lived in. Every person that went into Narnia came back to the world they lived in. Because at the end of the day, you still live in this world. but that is not your reality.
Amen.
You simply walk in a place that wears an image. It's a facade. It's all it is. But there's another place that sometimes God needs to take you to realize what your purpose is and who you are. Not orphans, but royalty. They were kings, they were queens. That's who they were in that land. And it's the same thing with us. We have to allow God to sort of remove us from that place that we've always known, because we get so comfortable in it. And we hate it. We hate where we're at, but we get comfortable in it. And then people ask us, you know, are you happy? Yeah. You know, how was work? It was okay. Is that what you want to do when you want to grow up? No. No. Life is good sometimes. I hate my life. That's how most of us act. But that's not what you were meant to be. You were meant to have things that others don't. You were meant to be things that others cannot understand. You were meant to have blessings that were promised to you a long time ago. By your ancestors, by those who prayed for you, because if you didn't know, someone has prayed for you. If you're here, someone has prayed for you. And those things are still waiting for you. But once again, it's a matter of who are you? Have you accepted your position as a child of God? Because if you haven't, then you have no inheritance. And you have no purpose and you have no power. And you live the same useless life that has no meaning. And you walk around the same way with the same job that you don't like. And you die the same way, no one comes to your funeral. And your family members, the best thing they can say about you is you showed up on Christmas. You showed up on holidays, you showed up on birthdays.
Dang.
But after that, there's no other reason to remember you. I can't remember you because of something you did. There's something special about you. And it's not a matter of position, but you never lived up to it. You never knew what you were meant to do. And you know, if we're honest, being ourselves is one of the hardest things you could ever do. Moses, great example. This man was born a Jew. He was raised like an Egyptian. He was raised like a prince. But his blood was that of a slave. And he had to make a decision. Do I stay where I am? Because I know God's plans. I know He will destroy this land. I know eventually I will perish. But if I stay where I am, I have riches, I have a fortune, I have fame, I have the family, I have the look. But I know I will perish. I know this will not last. Or I could say that I am a Jew. I could fall into slavery. I have the risk of falling into slavery. I have the risk of being rejected, exiled possibly, killed maybe, because I was meant to die when I was a baby boy. They could just decide to kill me right now. But I know there's something greater behind it. And if I feel like if I trust God, He'll show me something else. He'll take me somewhere else, something greater. And you know what? That decision is something that cost him 80 years of his life. Before Moses was able to deliver the Jews, he had to go somewhere else to know what he was meant to be. There was a process he had to walk. People he had to meet, people that would challenge him. Not all of them who he liked all the time, but they challenged him. They taught him, they corrected him. Was it painful? Yes, because he's never been in that position. He'd always been treated as a prince, and now he was just, not homeless, but, he didn't really have everything he had before. But until God said, go, now is your time. I need you to move. There's a promised land waiting for you, and now is your time to move. But that took time, and that took patience, and that took molding. That took that every single stereotype and every single image that had placement on him had to be completely removed directly. Because at the end of the day, that is what Jesus does. He finds you, and not the person that you think you are. Not the person that everybody sees or that everybody calls you. Not what your classmates call you, not what your parents call you, not what your teachers call you. He calls you the person that God created. Christian, you just joking. But you distracted me. It's your hair. You need to stop hiding. And there's something that I want you to walk away with here is stop hiding. Someone had to tell me that before. And I didn't really understand it until I kept coming. There was something that attracted me. I kept coming because there was another part of me that I kept seeing every time that I stepped into this church. And that is why I have so much respect for this altar. You know, you can't look at it as a stage. There's a certain power here, there's a certain presence that comes with this altar. And that's what transforms you, that's part of the thing that transforms you. You can't be afraid of it. Because if you're afraid of who you are, then you're afraid of who God is. And I want you to think about that as well. Do you fear God, or are you afraid of Him? Because none of us are perfect. And fear includes a certain amount of wisdom, a certain amount of respect. But when you're afraid of something, it means that you're afraid of the repercussions. You're afraid of what it's going to mean. You're afraid of what people are going to think of you.
What?
You're afraid of what's going to happen when I lift my hands and the guy next to me is looking at me. And we've all been there. You're afraid of God because you're afraid of what He means. You're afraid to be different. You're afraid of change. And I hear a lot of people say, I don't come to church because I don't want to change. And the only thing I can tell them is, it's not change. Think of when you were little and you wanted to be someone great, when you were still innocent, an innocent child. And think of it as meeting that person that you wanted to be all over again. That person that you dreamed to be when no one told you it was unrealistic, when no one told you you were crazy. That person that you wanted to be, you're meeting that person again. Except this one's better. Except this one has a greater purpose. Except this one actually touches people, moves people. It's a leader. You're meeting that person again. And sometimes it's more of a metamorphosis, is what I like to call it, not a change. And actually, if we can go to 1 Peter 2:9. Thanks, Cindy. Oh, thank you. Because I don't know what you're.
But all of you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and a holy nation, an exclusive people, that all of you should show forth the praises of Him who has called you out of darkness, who has called you out of darkness into His marvelous light.
You know, if you want to know who you are in layman's terms, as a child of God, you want to know who you are. You're a light. Someone has put a light inside of you. And think of it as when you were, once again, a child and you were afraid of dark. And you put a nightlight in your room because you were afraid of things coming at you. It was scary. And that nightlight never really got rid of the darkness because you still live with a certain amount of darkness as part of the package deal we live in. But it made things clear. You could walk without falling. You knew where to go. You knew where to move. That's part of the privilege of having a light. And when you become the light, people tend to follow you. People tend to ask you, what's so different about you? I feel like I have to be near you. I don't know why, but I have to get close to you because I feel like whenever I move with you, things are clear.
Amen.
The darkness will not go away. That's something that you have to learn. The darkness will never go away because that is not your job. There's only one person that's meant to completely get rid of the darkness. And that's the person that's going to come back. That's a person that is still waiting to come back.
Amen.
And his job is to completely get rid of the darkness. Your job is to be a light. So people will follow you. So people will know the way. It's part of being a child of God. For someone who is not a child, someone who does not have light, does not know where they're going. And eventually will fall. And eventually will fail. I hear a lot of people saying, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my life. You know, well, that's an understatement. You don't know where you are. You don't know who you are. You don't know who to walk with. You don't know who to follow. Because you're not where you're meant to be. You know, there's so something special. There's something special that happens when you allow God to sort of shift your manner of thinking, your manner of living. And it's sort of, I see a lot of people get tired. I say, I don't see it. I don't see when God changes me. I ask for God to do things in me, but I don't see it. You're not going to see it. Other people will. They're going to tell you about it. Because as I said, you will illuminate things in your path. When you walk, you illuminate. And it's going to happen behind your back. You're not going to see it coming. But if you keep following God, if you allow Him to guide you, if you allow Him to mold you, that's what happens. Suddenly you wake up one day and you're just a completely different person. You don't think the way you used to. A lot of times people tell me, oh, the point is to become more like Jesus. It's right. It is to become more like Jesus. But Jesus was just simply a reflection of God. Because the one who created you is the one who knows you best. He made you in His image. When they say be more like Jesus, they mean become the person that you were meant to be. And I don't know if you guys really understood what I'm trying to tell you. I don't know if this message was for you or not. I don't know if you care at all. But we all have imperfections. Y'all hear me? We all have imperfections. We all flaws. Like, I'm seriously like something just like my ear. Stuff is real here, guys. Not like it. But we all have imperfections. We all have flaws. We all have habits. Things that we like to go back to because that's the image. That's what we're trying to fight, an image, an imperfection. And we go back to those things sometimes. And I understand why we do it. Because as we've talked about before, that mentality that you have of a slave, you can call it a slave, you can call it whatever you want, that takes time to delete. And to have God's mind work in you because God thinks differently than you do, that takes time. That takes process. People are afraid of process. Stand up, please. You know who you are. I don't know who you are. For a lot of you, you're very confused. You don't know where you want to. You don't know if you want to stay here. You don't know if you want to go back to your old life, the way you've known things your entire life. But it's not about you. It's never been just about you. There's someone that needs you to be you. Your children need you to be you. Your husbands and your wives, they need you to be you. Because you are their light. And you will guide them. And sometimes that process hurts so much. We give up because we feel like we'll never be enough. We'll never be enough of what God wants us to be. We'll never be like Pastor. We'll never be like Josh and Cindy or Roger and Yeli or Carlton and Monica. We'll never be what they are. We weren't called to be what they are. And you're right, you weren't. Nothing about you is like Josh, Cindy, or Carlton, Pastor, or Manny, or anyone. Nothing about you is like anybody else. I made you unique. I gave you gifts. I showed you grace. I need you to stop hiding from me. Because you call yourself a believer, but you have rejected me as your father. I am still your father. And as a parent, I worry about you sometimes. Because you lose yourself. You lose yourself in the things that that make no sense. You lose yourself because other people tell you that's the right way, but it's not. I know the right way. I am the right way.
Amen.
You're meant to be. If you knew who you were, if you knew what you were meant to do, you would have stopped. You would surprise yourself. Because you're greater than you realize. I didn't come to tell you you were flawed. I didn't come to tell you there was something wrong with you. I came to tell you I see more in you. I'm not talking to the person that you see when you look in the mirror. Sometimes you think that's an ugly person. But I'm not talking to that person. I'm talking to someone inside you. Someone that's been buried for a very long time. And no one needs to pray for you. Because what you need to do is you need to seek me. They can't help you. You need to seek me. They can't tell you who you are. I can tell you who you are. I will show you if you allow me to, if you're patient with me. Don't give up on me. I've never given up on you, and I will never give up on you. I gave you a position. In case you were wondering, I gave you a position. And I gave you a title, and no one can take that away from you. Stop living in this perception that you're any less than what I called you to be. I know you, and I know you better than you know you. I need you to start moving. I need you to start walking to me, because my hand is stretched out to you, and I'm just waiting for you to grab it. Don't look at the water beneath you. Don't look at the uncertainty. Don't look at the possible ridicule, the possible death. Because I will carry you through that. I will hold your hand, and if you fall, I will pick you back up. But it's going to take time. And it's going to take your effort. And you're going to have to want it more than you've ever wanted anything before. Because I want you that much. I wanted your imperfections and I wanted your flaws. I loved you regardless of them. I love you in spite of them, and I love you with them. You are perfectly imperfect. And there's still more to you. There's more that I have left to reveal to you. And I want to show you all of it. Temporary thing. This is a lifetime effort. I gave you my life. I need you to give me your life. Not just Sunday mornings, not just Friday nights. I need you to give me everything. If you still want me, I'm here. If you still want me, I'm here. But it's up to you. I will not force you into changing. I will not force you to move. It's up to you. It's up to you.
One thing for sure is, the word that she came and spoke, she to tug on every individual's heart here, young and old. Because I was sitting back there and listening to her speak, and she said something important. That there's a light that resides within inside of us. And if we want to get to know this light even better, that we should communicate with the Holy Spirit, the one that knows the thoughts and the plans of the Father, so we can learn our identity, our purpose while we're here on this earth, and how we finish this life successfully. Youth, this is your moment, your time, your moment, your time, to understand what God is really wanting to do in your life. We'll give you this time. Use it wisely. Because you have to be reminded all the time, you're not promised tomorrow. Use it wisely.
save what was in the exterior. I came to save what was inside of you. Because that part of you is not gone yet. You have not lost it. You have not lost your salvation. You have not lost your purpose. But you're not me. But I have a message for you. I am still me. And I still see you. I will be wherever you are, and I will find you wherever you are. But I'm waiting for you to call me. Because I've only run to you so far. to run to me. You need to stop acting like you know all the answers. You need to stop pretending to be someone you're not. It's okay if you're shy, it's okay if you're scared. It's okay if you're confused right now. I will give you clarity, because you will be the clarity. I will make you the light. Don't be afraid of me. I didn't come to hurt you. I came here to bring you back to the person you were always meant to be. That's all I wanted for you. And I wanted you to choose for yourselves to be brought back. You lost something. You lost something a long time ago and someone lost it for you. But it's okay, I can bring it back. I can bring it back. It's not enough that you come into my home. I need you to be a part of my family. You're an asset to me. And the enemy has tried to fool you. Has tried to mold you. But I came to transform. I transform. I am the God who gives and the God who takes away, and I will take away everything that has been put in front of your path. Every mountain that has been placed in front of you, I can remove it right now. And if I don't remove it, it's because I want you to climb it. And I want you to climb it with me. And I will hold your hand. And when you fall, I will pick you up. I will get you over that mountain. And I will give you perspective. You will not only find me, but you will find yourself. I loved you since the moment that I thought about you. I loved who you were. I loved who I created you to be. And I still love you, despite everything. I still love you. Like I said, it's up to you.
It's like she said, it's up to you. Jesus called out to Peter. Peter made a change. He made a move and reached out for Jesus. Regardless of what treacherous water he had to walk on, he was determined to get close to him. There's a transformation that happens at this altar. And when she's speaking about this altar, I can relate to her. Because this is where change started for me in my life. You guys want to know more about Jesus? You want to be deep into his presence? It's at the altar where it takes place. But you got to make that move. You can't always expect for Jesus to come and jump out to you. Meet him halfway. It's your choice though.
All these pieces forsaken, I've been saved.